Hey everybody, it's Mr. Ben, and today during our reading lesson, what we're focusing on is solving new, or for some of you, these might not be new, maybe they're just tricky words. Um, so that is our focus. We're going to be doing this with the book we've been reading in English, which is Diary of a Worm. So in our first kind of purple column here, we have the different words, tunnels, bait, manners, macaroni, and grubby. So these are some kind of tricky words we noticed, or you may have noticed as you listened to Diary of a Worm last week, or when you followed along with me. In the middle, we're going to talk about the strategies we can use to solve those words. We have picture and context, picture and cognate. Those are kind of the three different things we see. If you'll notice, uh, you can use the picture in every single one, um, on every single one of these words. So that's a little bit different than how you did this with Miss Jenny last week because of the type of book we're reading. So you might notice that these all say picture. Well, that's because we're reading a picture book and they're going to give us clues in those pictures to help us understand. Um, One thing you may not notice is the word glossary. Because we're reading a fiction book, there is no glossary. They don't have a place in the book where you can find tricky words. So that is one difference we're going to find. Um, and then in our last column, the blue column over here, we have the meaning of the words. So let's get right into it. Let's look for our first word, tunnels. And remember, we're going to want to use the picture and the context. And context is just the words on the page. So let's look for where it says tunnels. And that's on this page. It says, number 2, when we dig tunnels, we help take care of the earth. Must make tunnel, help earth breathe. So when we're trying to figure this out, we want to first, we're going to look at this picture right here. We can assume that this worm is making a tunnel. He says they are digging them. So by using the sentence, when we dig tunnels, we help take care of the earth, in the picture here, what can we guess that the word tunnel means? All right. Um, as I look at it, I notice that he's digging a hole into the earth. So tunnel must mean a hole that you dig underground. So I'm going to put right here, it's going to say holes dug underground. And something I just realized, I believe in Spanish the word is túneles. So this would also be a cognate. Um, Another way, I just thought of that one as we're going through this. So great, we can keep moving on. I hope you were able to guess that it does mean holes dug underground, but let's look where it says bait. So we'll go back to our book and we have to go to a new page. And here we go. So fishing season started today. We all dug deeper. Did you guys hear something? And then on this can right here, it says bait. So we need to think by using this picture and what it says in the text. And also, this would be a good time to use any previous knowledge that you might have. So maybe something you've heard or um, read in your nonfiction text with Miss Jenny, but what does bait mean and why is it linked with worms? So what does the word bait mean? Now, If you guessed that bait is food that you use to catch a fish or another animal, you are correct. So in our column here, we're just going to write down food used to catch fish or other animals. So that one might sound familiar, even if you're not a fisherman or a fisherwoman, someone who goes out fishing. You might know that worms are used to catch fish. Okay, so let's look for our next word, manners. And now this time we're going to have to use the picture and the context. We're going to have to see what this worm is doing so we can figure out what the word manners means. Okay? So Grandpa taught us that good manners are very important. So today I said good morning to the first ant I saw. Good morning. All right. So the worm was saying that his grandpa told him he needs to have good manners. And when this little guy took that to meaning that he needed to say good morning to the ants or be nice to them. So using the clues on the page, in the pictures, and in the writing, what do we think manners are? Okay? Now, manners, this one is pretty tricky. So manners is like how we do something, right? So Grandpa said he needed to have good manners, and he took that as to being nice to the ants. So in this case, manners is how you do something. All right, get my spelling right. There we go. All right, next word is macaroni. Macaroni. Now, for this one, we're going to be using our pictures again, as well as uh, knowing that macaroni is a cognate. It sounds very similar when you pronounce it in Spanish, but let's read the sentence first, and we'll see what we think it means. So today we made macaroni necklaces in art class. So if we look down here, they have, I'm going to assume that this is the macaroni because they're wearing it around their neck. He said there was necklaces. And then on the next page, it says, I brought mine home and we ate it for dinner. Okay, so using the picture, using what you know, what you're seeing here, what does macaroni mean? What is macaroni? All right, so when I think of macaroni, I think of macaroni and cheese, and I know that macaroni is a small tube of pasta. All right. I hope most of us got that one. I feel like most of us think macaroni, we think macaroni and cheese, and you know that it's a small tube of pasta. Okay, we're on to our last one, folks. This is also the most tricky. It is the word grubby. This may or may not be something you've heard before. Let me get to our page. Um, so we want to use the picture and also the context. So how is he talking about it in the text? And we see it down here in number 3. So number 3 says, I never have to take a bath. And then mom says, who's my grubby little boy? Now, he's talking about not having to take a bath, and mom says he's grubby. So from the words and what we see in the picture, what do you think that grubby means? Okay. If you said grubby, it means that he is dirty or unclean. You are correct. Okay, so Grubby means dirty or unclean. We go back to our story. He was talking about not taking a bath. If you don't take a bath, you get kind of dirty. If we look closely at the picture here, we see he's covered in dirt. That's different from how he looks in the other pictures. We see that he actually is dirty and unclean. So we can assume that grubby means dirty or unclean. Okay, so using our pictures, using context, cognates with words that sound almost the same in English and in Spanish, and then a little bit of prior knowledge, we're able to solve a ton of tricky or new words. So when you guys are doing some independent reading at home, make sure you're using all of these skills that you've been learning so that you can understand the text the way it was written. All right. Good luck solving new and tricky words, friends. We'll see you tomorrow.